and she has stage 4 cancer, which the doctors say, according to them, you're pretty much incurable.
Incurable.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
But she's quite stable.
Well, she's stable, and if you look at her, she doesn't look like anything is wrong at all.
No, I mean, I've seen her on TV, and
yeah, she looks great. I mean,
she looks fine.
We had a barbecue a few weeks ago, and I saw her parents, and she looks great. But that is what doctors technically say.
And she was in front of the judge, presenting herself as a healthy.
She was in better shape than the judge. You know what I mean? And no offense, but Alaina is like, you know, I mean, if you looked at the two and said, well, who's going to live longer? I mean, you know, no offense, but that's just the...
Well, the judge is not fighting for her children, so... so in this case, and I think that's an important part about this case, because if she was, you know, on her deathbed, you would have a little bit better understanding for why a judge would rule in favor of the father.
Yeah.
But she was not. Now, it's kind of tricky because you look at stage 4, and just for those of you who don't know, cancer only comes in 4 stages, 4 being the worst. I know.
The last. I mean, there's no more stages.
There's nowhere to go from there. I've heard stories about people who are like, at least it's stage 4 and not stage 10. So no, you know.
Who said that?
My friend's mom. It's, you know, whatever. She was confused.
Okay. All right.
She was talking about herself, you know. Yeah, which was a hard conversation to have. Like, no, Mom, there is nothing, you know, beyond stage 4.
Stage 10. Okay, so
wait, let me continue on my train of thought. So you look at that diagnosis, and that looks really extreme. At the same time, she's receiving this state-of-the-art treatment from, what is it?
From Duke.
Duke University. It's a patient trial. Like, she's basically, it's experimental.
And she can only get it there.
Right, so that's a whole other can of worms, because it's like, you would think possibly that she could just move to where her kids were moving to, but that gets in the way of her treatment. So here you have someone with stage 4 cancer who's doing well and who is stable and could possibly live a long, decent life, and to think that it would be beneficial for the children to take them away from her just doesn't make any sense, even if her prognosis was not so great, right? I mean, just the idea of taking children away from someone who is ailing is, you know, doesn't really seem like the most intuitive thing to do in terms of the mother-child relationship.
Well, and also, this is really what I think that angers people the most, including myself.
What?
That, you know, regardless of the ex-husband working, Kane Snyder, his job, his name's allowed to be out there. It's public.
Out there. It's in the press.
It's public. So public knowledge. The fact that he has a job, people are like, well, at least he has a job and he's paying this and that. Let me just say that if you decided to move to get a job, to support your kids or whatever, and you know, have an ex-wife, you know, the right thing, any normal human being would say, you know what,
tell him
my kids want to be with the mother, and she has stage 4 cancer. So I should be a good human being, since I'm the one earning the money, and I'm the one with the job. Maybe I should be the one to send, you know, maybe come visit them once a month, get a hotel room because I have a job. And, you know, have some empathy and sympathy for the children and for Alaina, because I mean, you know what, she is doing well, but you still don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Wouldn't you want to be a good human being and do the right thing? You know, instead of just saying, you know what, screw this, I have the upper hand. I'm going to bang this chick over the head with everything, you know, because I'm pissed off that we're, you know, getting divorced and that. I mean, I just think it's disgusting that somebody could stoop so low to leave somebody in this position. Because right now, I mean, I don't know how you want to jump in terms of like direction with this, how quickly you want to move to the end part of the story, but she is without the kids now in Durham, North Carolina, and, you know...
Well, let's just say this. So after she got a lot of attention from the story, and mostly, or primarily as a result of your Facebook page, which got over 20,000 likes, which means over 20,000 people saw that page and felt strongly enough about her case to aligned themselves with her cause, signed a petition voicing their outrage over this decision, contributed money to a fundraising campaign that was also started by a family member or friend?
Yeah, for a friend.
A friend, okay. And then you had like a sort of a media storm around it. So all of this happens. She is able to get some representation, attorney representation in North Carolina, for which she doesn't have to pay, although there are some administrative costs involved in that.
There was over like $5 grand, $6 grand for all that stuff. So they had to raise money for that.
However, at the end of the day, when they tried to appeal this, the children being moved to Chicago before the start of the school year, they lost that appeal. So in the media, it basically, you get the message that she's lost this case. But what she lost was the appeal, and the case is still pending as far as I see it, right?
Yeah, but it can take up to 24 months.
Okay, God. So it could take up to 2 years.
You know?
In the scheme of a child's life, that's 2 grades that they have to go through, and will probably get entrenched in their new lives in Chicago. I mean, kids are really malleable. They can adapt. And now then you're going to have a judge who's going to say, well, I don't think it's a good idea to take the kids out of that situation and bring them back.
Well, the kids don't want to be like a ping pong balls bouncing back and forth. No one wants to do that. And so we're trying to figure out plan B now. And it's just really challenging. It's really frustrating because here we have this woman who just wants to be with her kids. That's it. She's been taking care of them.
Like any mother.
And she just wants to be with the children that she raised. They want to be with her.
Right.
And now, you know, she has no money. She has no children around her.
Right.
You know, she's partially, you know, I guess depressed because of the situation. You know, the last thing you want to do to somebody with cancer is for them to lose hope. You really don't ever want that, because that's when everything can go downhill.
Okay,
for anybody, but especially with someone with a life-threatening disease.
You're absolutely right. So again, you're pinpointing this. I mean, really all of this hinges on the ex, in the sense that if he sort of had this empathy, as
came to his senses. I mean, think about the big picture here.
Right.
You know, and some people say,
so in an ideal world, he would have left the kids with her, and he would have been the one to accommodate for them. I mean, let's not negate the fact that he is the father of these children. He does have a relationship with them. You don't know exactly how he feels about his children, so let's err on the side of he's a caring father. Yes, he wasn't around for them all the time, but I don't want to make any, like, suppositions about that. Maybe that was because you know, he needed to further his education so he could get a high-paying job, and that entailed not being with them. Or maybe he had to take a job in Georgia because that was a stepping stone to a better position. I'm just laying out the framework of, you know, possibly he had these like good intentions, you know, at heart. Okay, so even given all of that, you're saying basically the honorable thing to do would be to say, I'm the one who has more flexibility and more money. I will come to you. I'll come once or twice a month on the weekends and spend time with the kids in that way.
Well, I believe that the father is the one that really sacrifices, like, in a lot of ways. I mean, not that the mother doesn't, you know, with all the care and love that she gives to the children, but I believe that sometimes the father has to just step up and be a man and say, listen, you know, this is the situation right now. Do I really want to be separated from my kids? Not really, but I have to think of the bigger picture here. My children first, what do they want?
Right.
You know, I'm removing them. The life of my ex, the children love them. I mean, let me just tell you, for you guys out there, I've been divorced. I have an ex-wife. My daughter, I spend time with my daughter, but she chooses to spend more time with my ex-wife. I don't love it, but that's how it is. And my interest is what's best for her. And so, you know, that's the sacrifice I make, is that I don't see her as much as I want to, but this is what she wants. And my job as a father is to give the children what they need. That's really what it is. So I believe that, you know, you hit the nail on the head, that he just isn't doing the right thing. I think I just think it's disgraceful.
Well, but you could say that he is doing the right thing in that he wants to be the one person to take care of them. you know, should their mother become more gravely ill.
Yeah, but should. I mean, she's not right now. So, I mean, you know, that's a bridge you cross when you get there. And listen, I understand what you're saying. You're playing devil's advocate here. But I just think, you know, there comes a time where you just have to just say, listen, this is the right thing to do for the children first, and then for Alaina. And now, you know, what does anybody think about what is going to happen to this woman now? What is she to do? What is Alaina to do? The kids want the mother. She doesn't have any children now. She lives in a state where, you know, she's by herself now. I mean, nobody...
So what is she doing now? You mentioned that she's going back and forth.
Well, she's been traveling. We've been raising money for her. Not necessarily raising money, but people have been buying tickets for her to come fly to Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or using their miles that they can transfer?
Well, no, not the miles. We've been having trouble with that because it costs a lot of money. These greedy airlines, man, it's just like, you know,
costs money
a few $100s
to give your miles to somebody?
It's ridiculous.
I thought a lot of airlines have a program where...
Makes more sense to just buy the ticket. It's just the mileage thing is a joke. So, so what we've been doing is that, and trying to get people to purchase hotel, motel rooms for her while she's out there.
Wow.
And it's looking like that she may possibly have to move there. I mean, she told me...
What about her treatment at the hospital?
You know what? She told me that the pain of not being with her children is more painful than the cancer. And I think that
speaks volumes.
That is very sad. That you know, this woman is willing, you know, to sacrifice her life, you know, how long she could possibly live in her treatment, just to have the happiness of being around her children more often. And so that's what we're trying to do. My job right now is to make sure she has the best quality of life possible, and she lives as long as she can. Hopefully she'll outlive me, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. And so her happiness, knowing that she's going to be around her children, knowing that she's going to have a place to live, knowing that she, you know, doesn't have to go out and get a full-time job after not working for a decade while she has stage 4 cancer and has to watch her health. Like, I just want to make sure that she's taken care of, and the children know that she's all right.
All right, so now I have two questions. One, when she does the exchange for the you know, the children go from his care into hers, does she have conversations with him? I mean, are they civil on a level where they can actually, like, where they actually chat, or is it like an icy freeze?
Not really. It's more of like an email, back and forth with emailing, and lawyers kind of looking at the emails and just making sure, almost like...
but, I mean, she literally has to see him when he drops the kids off
where
she is, right?
Yeah, but it's... I mean, there still are challenges. He's not making it easier for her at all.
No.
I mean, it's really gotten a lot more complicated, and I don't really want to say anything right now.
No, that's fine. No.
But if it was just about Alaina moving and being there, I mean, even that would be easier than what's actually happening right now. And so... It's, like I said, it's just about, for me, it's just about the children being happy, being around their mother, and about Alaina knowing that her life is going to be okay. That's it. That's my main concern. You know, yes, I've kind of been mad at Kane and pissed off about how someone could be that heartless and cold. But then again, it's not really changing the situation. It's not helping Alaina. It's not helping anybody, really. You know, we're just trying to find solutions at this point, and it's not easy. It's been challenging.
It's not possible for them to possibly mediate this in any way.
You know what?
It's gone too far.
You know, the mediation. I mean,
I mean, you don't have to go back to court. You know, this could be this could technically get settled out of court. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, that's been done. That's been tried, and it's not happening. You know, he doesn't want to.
Right, you need both parties to agree on that. And then the other thing is oh, we're running out of tape. Is it possible to change legislation about the way the judge ruled in favor of the non-ill parent?
Well, that's what Alaina's working on right now.
She is.
But that's the big goal here. You know what I mean? To change that for others. She wants to at least impact other people's lives that don't want to go through this or have to go through this in the future.
Sure, this is a case that this could be a landmark case.
But at the same time, while that's happening, we still want to make sure that when I say we, me and the 24,000 people out there want her to just, you know, have a good life, and for her and the children, and that's it, just keep a family together. That's all we want. It's as simple as that.
Well, I wish all of them a lot of luck. It's a very tricky situation.
I'll keep you posted on that.
Okay, yeah, we'll have an update show maybe in a couple of months. Okay, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.